Can Stephen Curry still torch the best young team in the West? The answer came twice, in 72 hours, and it stung both times. The Golden State Warriors escaped San Antonio with a gut-wrenching 109-108 victory Friday night at the Frostbank Center, capping a sweep of their two-game miniseries against the Spurs. Curry dropped a season-high 49 points, his second consecutive nuclear performance in the Alamo City, and left San Antonio's defense searching for answers. This isn't just a tough loss, it's a lesson in late-game execution, defensive discipline, and what happens when you give an all-time great even the slightest opening. Let's dive in. What's up, Spurs fans? Welcome to Spurs Quick News. Quick, sharp, and all about the silver and black. The Spurs now sit at 8-4 overall and 1-1 Emirates Cup play after De'Aaron Fox's potential game winner bounced out at the buzzer. That miss sealed Golden State's victory and ensured every team in the ultra-competitive West Group C sits at 1-1. Victor Wembanyama delivered with 26 points and 12 rebounds, while Fox added 24 points and 10 assists in his best all-around performance since returning from injury. Julian Champagnie chipped in 14 points, extending his Ironman streak to 115 consecutive games, played a streak that briefly appeared in jeopardy after a hip contusion 2 nights earlier. The Spurs led by 10 with under 7 minutes remaining, but Curry's barrage 31 points in the second half alone turned the tide. What can we learn from this heartbreaker? Here are 3 critical takeaways. Takeaway 1. Hats off to Steph Curry, this was legendary. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap. Curry's 2-game demolition of the Spurs borders on the absurd 95 combined points on 2-9 of 5-1 shooting, 1-4 of 3-2 from three-point range, and a performance that tied Michael Jordan's record for most 40-point games after turning 30. Friday's 49-point explosion on 1-6 of 2-6 shooting and 9 of 1-7 from deep was surgical. He scored 39 points across the 2 third quarters alone, methodically dissecting every defensive scheme Mitch Johnson threw at him. The Warriors didn't need a balanced attack, they needed Curry, and he delivered. Jimmy Butler was the only other Warrior in double figures with 21 points. Curry's off-the-dribble jumpers accounted for 28 points, his most in a single game since 2015. He controlled tempo, manipulated pick-and-roll coverage, and buried pull-up threes the moment defenders sagged. When Fox fouled him with 6.4 seconds remaining and the Spurs up 108-107, Curry calmly drained both free throws. The 2-time MVP is now shooting 6 of 7 from the stripe this season, 94.3%. That's clutch incarnate. How do you defend that? Honestly, you don't. The Spurs' closeouts were mostly sound, the rotations sharp. Curry was just better. This is the harsh reality of playing against an all-time great who refuses to age gracefully. He's not washed, he's wine. What's your take? Is there any way to slow down Curry when he's in this zone, or do you just hope he cools off? If you're enjoying the breakdown, tap subscribe. We're breaking down every Spurs game with this level of detail. Takeaway 2. The dunk that wasn't, and the momentum swing that almost was. Midway through the fourth quarter, Wembanyama delivered what should have been one of the most spectacular highlights in Spurs history. After some physical back and forth with Draymond Green under the basket, Wemby caught a lob from Stephon Castle and threw down a thunderous left-handed slam over Green. The Frostbank Center erupted, expecting a 3-point play. Instead, officials ruled the foul came before Wembanyama secured possession. No basket. But here's the thing, the Spurs didn't fold. Green picked up another foul immediately after. Harrison Barnes hit 2 free throws on a loose ball foul, and Wembanyama went back to the line for 2 more after another Green foul. The sequence, punctuated by Steve Kerr's technical foul, ignited a run that pushed San Antonio's lead to 10 with 6:53 remaining. For a moment, it felt like the game was over. The crowd was electric, the Spurs had all the momentum, and Golden State looked rattled. Then Curry happened. The Warriors clawed back with a 16-6 run fueled by Curry's shot-making and timely contributions from Gary Payton II and Brandon Podziemski. That 10-point cushion evaporated, and the Spurs found themselves in a dogfight down the stretch. The missed call on Wemby'S dunk didn't lose the game, but it symbolized how close San Antonio was to burying the Warriors. In high-leverage moments, you can't give elite teams oxygen, and the Spurs let Golden State breathe. Do you think the refs blew that call on Wemby'S dunk? And how different does this game look if it counted? Drop your thoughts below. Takeaway 3. Julian Champagnie's Iron Man streak lives on. Let's talk about reliability. Harrison Barnes' 316-game consecutive appearance streak rightfully gets attention. It's the second longest active streak in the NBA. But Julian Champagnie's own durability run deserves recognition. The 24-year-old forward hit 115 consecutive games played Friday, a streak dating back to March 2024. He was listed as questionable with a hip contusion suffered in Wednesday's loss, but there was never real doubt. That expletive hurt, Champagnie admitted post-game. He still logged 30 minutes and contributed 14 points, continuing his steady role as a floor-spacing forward who doesn't miss time. Mitch Johnson praised Champagnie's availability, reliability, dependability as qualities that probably get overlooked too much by everybody. In an NBA where load management and injury management dominate headlines, Champagnie's consistency is refreshing. He's not flashy, but he's always there. For a young Spurs team still learning how to compete night in and night out, that kind of professionalism matters. Champagnie's 14 points came on efficient shooting, and his ability to space the floor opened driving lanes for Wemby and Fox. The Spurs need him healthy as they navigate a brutal stretch ahead, and his commitment to suiting up even when banged up sets a tone for the roster. How important is Champagnie's consistency to this Spurs team? Is he the most underrated player on the roster? Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss our film breakdowns. This loss stings because it was winnable. The Spurs controlled the game for long stretches, got quality performances from their stars, and executed defensively for 42 minutes. But in the NBA, 42 minutes isn't enough. Curry reminded everyone why he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and the Spurs learned again that closing games against championship-caliber opponents requires near-perfect execution. At 8-4, San Antonio is still in excellent shape. The loss dropped them to 1-1 Emirates Cup play, but with every team in West Group C tied at 1-1, the tournament race remains wide open. The Spurs have shown they can compete with anyone. Now they need to prove they can finish. If this added value to your Spurs perspective, like and share with a fan who needs this. Subscribe so you never miss a beat in this new Spurs era. Stay silver and black peace.